Record of Ragnarok chapter 98, finally, after all this time we got it. This is a very complicated chapter for the likes of Odin, Siegfried, and Loki, so be prepared to pay attention to this so you consume everything. But before that, I need you guys to do one thing for me. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep growing and building the strong Record of Ragnarok community we got here. Awakened by the divine rune of the creator god Odin, the nameless god, thanks to his power and wisdom, became the supreme god Odin. So we're picking up right where we left off with the lore dump about Odin, the primordial vessels. Make sure you go check out last month's video if you want to get caught up with all that. But we see Odin now in present day approaching this door. Now, I don't know what the hell is on the right of his body because we don't see it in the close-up, but it's neither here nor there for now. Odin then says just two more victories and the Yggdrasil will live once more. So we got confirmation. We've talked about this for years and years. The evil Odin theory, of course, at this point, everybody should understand it's real. The Record of Ragnarok tournament is a means to him fulfilling his long-standing dream. Now, we will get the explanation later to what it is, so there was some things we were wrong about, but here it is. Straight up for you. Odin says, and then my lifelong dream will finally come true. And the interesting thing about this is that he like spawned his sword out of his palm, which is wild to me because of course we talked about the fact that Siegfried stole the sword, so he must have got the sword back from Siegfried. And then also we saw him use gun gear, so it looks like he has both gun gear and his sword. We also see him spawn in all the rest of the runes. So a lot of people speculated that some other people may have these runes. That is not the case. Odin himself has already collected all 4 runes and they're within his body, I guess. Epic panel of Odin, sinister as hell as well. We cut back to Siegfried now, who's still, of course, obviously chained up. And Goal is saying, so what you are saying is that the current supreme god Odin was originally just an ordinary nameless god and that he received his name and power from the original creator god Odin, one of the 4 primordial pillars. Nostradamus then interjects and says, quite a twist, don't you think? But wait, the heart of the matter is from here. And Goal's like, wait, there's more, what the hell? Siegfried then says, the supreme god Odin, thanks to the magic sword Gram of the creator god Odin, was led to the other 4 treasures of calamity so that he could unlock the seal of Yggdrasil. Chaos's alchemical bracelets, Dropnir, Ymir's necklace, Brzingame, and Satan's Ego helmet, all of them are in his possession. Goal says, what could it be? No way then. Lord Odin has already resurrected the Yggdrasil? And Nostradamus says, no, but that's what one would think, right? It's not that simple, you see. I've done some research on the ancient legends and forbidden books, and it turns out that the seal of Gleipnir is ridiculously strong. The 4 treasures of calamity alone won't be able to break it. To break the seal, 2 more things are needed. It seems like it requires offerings. Really cool panel of Nostradamus, by the way. 2 offerings, says Goal, and Nostradamus says yep, and he shows her a page of the book that he was reading from. One is the water of life and the other is the primordial vessel. The water of life is the life energy of humans, not just 1 or 2 human lives, but the whole of humanity. Nostradamus says there's a fragment of a poem in an ancient book that says, when Midgard is destroyed, the well of Erd will be filled with the water of life, and the rumbling of the Yggdrasil will begin anew. Goal says, Midgard, you mean the human world, right? Can you summarize everything? And Nostradamus says the human world is destroyed and the well is filled with the flowing water of life. What do you think is the meaning of this? Goal says, no way. Nostradamus says, yeah. What's needed is the life energy of all humans currently living on Earth. So that is why Odin actually wants Record of Ragnarok to transpire, because in short, he actually didn't even want the tournament to transpire. He just wanted humanity to be eradicated because it fulfills the condition of the water of life, which will enact his plan of resurrecting Yggdrasil. So that means we were wrong about the fact that he was trying to sacrifice both humans and gods for it. And it does mean that he is effectively rooting for the gods at this point, because I think that he thinks that when Yggdrasil is revived, nobody's going to be able to stand to him anyway. Goal says the life energy of all humans. Then are you saying all of humanity will be sacrificed? And Nostradamus says it appears that Odin intended to use the decision made at the conference for humanity's survival for that purpose. In other words, when Brunhilde stopped the imminent end of humanity, which had already been decided by the gods, Odin was really pissed off. However, it wasn't because she defied the gods or provoked him. In fact, it was because she interfered with his goal of getting the water of life. Goal says, is Big Sis aware of that? And Siegfried says, probably. So I had even talked about the fact that I thought it was possible that Hilda and Odin were potentially in league on some efforts. that is not going to be the case either. Brunhilde completely went against Odin's plan, and he never wanted the Ragnarok tournament to actually take place. My initial thought was that Odin might have been using Siegfried as leverage against Hilda to potentially prompt her into enacting Ragnarok so he could try to wipe out some of the gods. That was part of my initial theory. Now we will see a panel that shows Odin looking like a beast sitting on his throne with Siegfried and Hilda in front of him in a minute. So it looks like she just learned all this information from that encounter, I assume, Odin's motivation, and then devised a plan in the background. But this is probably foreshadowing for a scene we're going to see later on when we get the flashback of what actually transpires here. Gold then asks, so what is the primordial vessel? The second thing Nostradamus mentioned. Nostradamus says it's literally a vessel. A god who receives the ruins of Yggdrasil contained within the 4 treasures of calamity and the water of life, which is the life energy of all humanity, will become a vessel achieving these two. He'll gain the power to break the seal. That's what they call the primordial vessel. Who would want to become something that resembles a monstrous balloon, says Gold. No way, Lord Odin himself will. And Nostradamus cuts her off and says, nah. The Yggdrasil imbued their own divine runes into each of the 4 treasures of calamity. The sword with heaven, the necklace with earth, the bracelet with nothingness, and the helmet with the underworld. For us humans, it's like blood types, you see. There are 4 types of human blood, but the gods have as many types as there are gods. It's not normal for one god's divinity to be compatible with another's. And to think Odin was compatible with the divinity of a primordial god is unheard of. Odin's compatibility with heaven is nothing but a miracle. Gold then says, so what about the vessel of the 4 divine runes? Nostradamus says, that's right, to become a primordial vessel, one must be compatible with all 4 divine runes. So Odin himself is not compatible with all 4, he's just compatible with the creator god Odin. However, no matter how much he looked, he could not find such a god. But Odin didn't give up. With unwavering determination, he spent a very long time using his position and power to continue his search, and as a result, he finally found it. And then, to ensure no one would interfere with his plans, he confined that half god, half human in Tartarus as the god of great sins. Meaning, this is talking about Siegfried. Gold says, wait, could it be? That means no way. I can't believe it. And Siegfried says, that's right. The primordial vessel is me. So we were right about this. We said that he's going to be a primordial vessel. We just didn't know that he's the primordial vessel for everything, right? We speculated that there may be a primordial vessel for each artifact, but it looks as if you have to be compatible with all 4 runes and they're all going to just put it all in one totality. Gold looks shocked as Siegfried explains, if the gods win this, humanity will be extinguished, the water of life will fill me up, and I'll become a monstrous balloon. And it seems like the seal of the Yggdrasil will be destroyed. For Odin, Sig is someone really important, says Nostradamus. You may even say he's his secret weapon. That's why I'm the one responsible for his maintenance, you see. That really doesn't explain that, to be honest, because like how the hell did Odin pull Nostradamus, and why would Nostradamus want to help? We'll have to find this out later. Ghost says, if Sig were to break the seal of the 4 pillars, what would happen? And Nostradamus says, of course, Sig would die as payment for fulfilling his role as the vessel. The Yggdrasil would resurrect, and once again, you could say that the slaughter of the gods would begin, bringing the end to this world. That would be the outcome, you see. Gold says, I see. So that's how it is. I finally understand it. I understand it now type shit. At the time when Sister Hilda risked her life to propose the Ragnarok tournament, she was solely focused on achieving victory regardless of others' opinions or her methods. To save humanity, the gods in heaven, and also her beloved Lord Siegfried. Insane lore dump. We're gonna have much more to talk about this down the road. I got some other opinions that I want to put out there about this. For now, what I'll say is that it definitely raises the stakes on all these upcoming fights. Raises the stakes retroactively of all these fights because everybody's at risk. The primordial gods get resurrected. Everybody's cooked effectively. And it makes me wonder like what the supreme god Odin actually believes is going to take place, because like if the Yggdrasil get revived, does he think that they're going to just allow him into their ranks, or they're going to just like accept him? I feel like they might just like get rid of him as well. So maybe he's not taking that into account. We then get this panel of Gold who's crying. She says that was for the sake of everyone else in this world. Very emotional for her sister. And Siegfried says, I bet she didn't mention that to you, did she, Gold? Gold replies and says, no, sister, I had no idea you. And it trails off. We're carrying such a heavy burden all by yourself. But there's still something I don't understand. If that's the case, then why did you bring me here to Tartarus and not bring Sister Hilde? Why tell me such an important thing? To me, a simple Valkyrie in training. And Siegfried takes a second and he says, that's because Gold, you are the last piece. We then cut away, so the cliffhanger as far as on that storyline, what does he mean by the last piece? And we see Hilda in one of the flower gardens. She looks pretty somber here as we actually get the reveal that Loki is sitting right next to her. Loki says, what's the matter? That's unusual. You wanted to meet up alone, huh? With someone like me? Hilda remains quiet for a second, and then Loki breaks the silence. Face looks very interesting here, and he says, I see. So you want to talk about that thing from before? You changed your mind, I assume. What he's referencing is the fact that he said that he'd protect her from Odin and save her. Loki says, I guess that happens sometimes. I will tell my uncle right away. So he gets up to walk away from her, and Hilda grabs onto his cloak. Loki looks back, and Hilda says, Lord Loki, I beg you, Lord Loki, could you fight in the next match? And she now is kneeling down to him. She also kneeled down to Thor in chapter 1 when he destroyed the Incubus. But this is completely different than what she was doing when she encountered Loki earlier. She was very dismissive of him before, and now she is playing on the heartstrings. She is being very reverent toward him and asking him to fight in the next match. Loki looks confused, but then his face looks sad as he can't deny the person that he loves most. He says, I see, you'd go to such lengths just to save Siegfried, huh? Hilda, remaining kneeling, says, I must win the next match at all costs. Loki says, you want to kill me that bad, don't you? Hilda says, for the next battle, the 11th round, I will choose a warrior who can defeat you, Lord Loki. Now, Hilda does look a little bit sad during this, but I don't know if this is just a straight up all-in-one manipulation tactic, because like I said, she was not interested in talking to Loki before, very dismissive of him, pretty mean to him. Now she's like acting as if she's sad, kneeling down to him, like I said, and basically she's trying to convince him to fight in round 11 and telling him she's trying to kill him. And Loki says, just so you know, I will not be defeated. Hilda replies, of course. And Loki says, right, I understand, and walks away. Loki says, if you want it so badly, then I'll go next. He then turns around and he spawns a rose from his palm, so this confirms that he can spawn basically whatever he wants from his palm. We saw, of course, the chain sights, but this opens up the possibilities for him in his fight all the greater. Loki, when he turned around and he spawned the rose, he had a big smile on his face. He starts laughing. He's like, I'm just kidding. To tell you the truth, it's already been decided that I will be the next fighter, you know? So don't think like I did this specifically for you, as he holds the rose to his face and he winks at her. In other words, you didn't have to make such a serious face and beg me like that. So much work for nothing, you must be exhausted, right? And Hilda says, what? Loki says, that's why, so please don't bow your head to me. He drops the rose and starts walking away. Hilda says, Lord Loki, and Loki just walks away, says, see ya, all right then. And Hilda says, Lord Loki, thank you so much. There's going to be more layers to this as we continue on, but as I said, it's a little bit unclear how Hilda's actually feeling in this moment. It does look to me like there is at least some kind of sadness, like they have some kind of acquaintance between the two of them. Hopefully it gets expounded upon in Loki's backstory. To see Loki's emotion on his face throughout all this, and then what we're going to see in a second, it really just like hammers it home that like he loves her, he'll do anything for her, and she's literally trying to kill him to be with another. This shit must hurt worse than anything. We then see Loki within his room again that we saw earlier in the series with Hilda's doll in it. He starts laughing wildly. He says, I see, so that's how it is, huh, as he's laying on the ground. I understand, I really do. You're planning to kill me to reach Uncle, aren't you? Reach Odin. Laughing maniacally continues. We see the Hilda doll prominently here. He then starts clawing into the ground while he's laughing uncontrollably, and he starts destroying everything in the room. His eyes go white and tears flow down his face as the laughing continues unstoppably. We see claw marks and slashes all across the room. Everything in the room is destroyed, save but the Hilda doll. Loki then collects himself, takes a deep breath, and says, I will murder you. I don't know like if we're gonna get another translation at some point, but I think like what he means is he's gonna crush her, he's gonna beat her fighter. But if he literally means he's gonna murder her, that even peels back everything further. Is he gonna finally snap and take it out on her like she's sacrificing him? We'll see. Now what everybody wanted to see, we finally get a shot of Anubis, who's super excited about fighting in this round. Of course, you saw that Susanoo basically bullied him out of the spot last round, so he wanted to fight last round, was supposed to fight last round, now he wants to fight this round. Says, my turn, now it's my turn, next is my turn. He's like skipping in the hallway and shit. He walks into the conference room of the gods, the VIP room, and he says, next it's my turn, finally, I'm so happy, I'm so hyped, right? And he looks at all the other gods, and Ares is like, Anubis, what are you doing? And then Hermes is scratching his head. He's like, actually, just a moment ago. And Zeus interjects, that guy just went for it without anyone's permission. Anubis' face is priceless here as he sees the phone, which reads the god's representative for round 11, Loki. Confirming the fact that Loki was, in fact, lying to Hilda, which should have been obvious. He was not originally supposed to be in this round. He took it upon himself, didn't get permission from Odin, didn't get permission from Zeus, just walked in and took the spot. Didn't even have to bully Anubis out the way. He just took initiative on his own. The things you do for love. Hilda looks at the match announcement. She says, Lord Loki, please forgive me. I'm doing this for Sig's sake and for humanity. Probably in the history of humanity, the only human who can defeat you, heaven's slyest god, and your unusual tricks, is this person alone. We see the silhouette of Simo. She says, despite being human, this man has earned the name, the White Death. Beastly shot of Simo's eyes as we get this pan out shot of Valhalla Arena and then this giant forest and mountain landscape. Simo actually didn't have a waiting room. He's just out in the forest around the arena. We get a shot of Rodgreed, or Simo's Valkyrie, and she's walking through these woods and she's like, oh, I've heard that you're somewhere nearby, but I can't seem to find you anywhere. She then stops. She lays down like a picnic blanket. It says, oh, well, I'm a bit tired, so I will take a break. And she starts like pouring some tea. You see all this wildlife around in this forest. It's a serene environment. And this bird lands on her shoulder. And then you see this paw on the ground. Then all of a sudden, this whole tone shifts completely. And you see this silhouette behind her in a cloak, and it looks like a beast. And the man behind her says, do we have a meeting? And she's surprised. She's like, I didn't even notice your presence. She gets up real quickly. She's like, my humble figure, of course, the 12th of the Valkyries, Rodgreed, will accompany you. We then see the infamous dog, Simo's dog, with a slightly different design than we saw in the initial reveal of Siegfried for the competition. So it was retconned a little bit, and Simo himself has some slight changes. But Simo's finally here. He says, let's go. Let's protect our homeland. As the epithet reads, the White Death Simo, the greatest sniper in human history, finally takes the stage. And that is the cliffhanger for the chapter. Heavy lore chapter. We got a lot of questions answered about what Odin's true objective is, what the conditions are for the resurrection of Yggdrasil, and of course, the great character building moment for Loki. All this is going to be extremely interesting to see play out within this fight. Round 11 is shaping up to be one of the deepest fights within the series. I can't wait to cover it. I can't wait for next month as we get confirmation that the fight will start next month. So we're back to the action. I'll see you guys then. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to drop a like, and let's keep this train rolling. Peace.